Recent reports have indicated that the New York Knicks could have interest in Atlanta Hawks center Clint Capela, but it does come with a catch, so we have to talk about it. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Knicks Digest. It's Chris here, and we're going to jump right into the video as we always do. So basically, what we have heard recently is that the New York Knicks are one of the teams, along with the Los Angeles Lakers, Houston Rockets, funnily enough, as he started there, and the Sacramento Kings, are teams to monitor in the Clint Capela sweepstakes, per Brett Siegel. Now, look, I honestly loved the idea of Clint Capela back when it seemed like Mitchell Robinson was not going to be coming back during this season. But now it appears that Mitch is going to get reevaluated in around a month from now, and because of that, basically what we're going to see is a most likely return of Mitchell Robinson around April. And with that being the case, I just don't understand why the Knicks would ever trade for Capela. You have Isaiah Hartenstein, who's clearly a good starting level center who will probably be coming off the bench if he sticks around in New York following this season. And also you have Mitchell Robinson, who not only is the best offensive rebounder in the NBA, but is also a top rim protector and rim runner in general, and one of the best centers in the NBA today. So it's really one of those situations where why the hell would we get Capela, who not exactly is, but for all intents and purposes is basically a worse version of Mitchell Robinson at the end of the day. But I do like the idea if Mitch were not able to come back, or if Mitch were not going to be fully healthy, or if the Knicks were planning on trading Mitchell Robinson, then it would make some sense. But a lot of those things seem far-fetched. It feels pretty certain that Mitch will be back before the season's over, and will definitely be back before playoffs begin. So I'm not sure if it makes a ton of sense, but here's the catch to this trade, is essentially the Knicks are a team to monitor in the Capela sweepstakes, as we know, but the trade will most likely be a Dejounte Murray and Clint Capela package deal. Now, that's where things come into play, because we know the New York Knicks have had interest in Dejounte Murray. We know they have talked to the Hawks, at least in a preliminary sense, regarding the Dejounte Murray availability. And we also know that Leon Rose and Rich Paul seemingly are willing to work together if a clutch player wants to go to the New York Knicks. For anyone who does not know what that means, basically, Dejounte Murray is a part of Clutch Sports, which is Rich Paul, LeBron's agency, and basically Rich Paul and Clutch Sports do not really work with CAA and Leon Rose, who is basically where Leon Rose stems from. There's a little rundown in case you don't know, but you probably know if you've been watching this channel, because we talk about it all the time. And we also talk about Dejounte Murray all the time, so we're not going to go into the whole thing with Murray, but essentially, if the Knicks are going to be trading for Clint Capela, they would also probably be trading for Dejounte Murray. There is no world where the Knicks make a trade with the Hawks, probably in general, that doesn't involve Dejounte going to the Knicks. And because of that, I'm sort of on the border of let's, not make a trade with the Hawks at all then, because I don't think Dejounte Murray makes much sense for this team. I know he's shooting around 37-38% from three this year, but I'm not sure if that's sustainable. He's not a good off-ball defender. I saw people comment and disagree with me the last time I said that, but watch the Hawks games. Dejounte Murray has given up in the past defensively, and he just does not pay attention off the ball. Does that sound like anyone that we might know before who's an inconsistent shooter, and though he's a great on-ball defender, isn't the world's greatest off-ball defender and gets a little lazy and sometimes doesn't score at a consistent rate? He was around 6'5", 6'6". Now plays for the Toronto Raptors, the same city that he's from. Does that sound like someone? Look, I love RJ Barrett. I'll say that to the end of the day. RJ balled out last night, and it was awesome. I was watching the Raptors game. First of all, I'm sorry to Raptors fans. Those announcers are rough to listen to. But RJ was great last night. Clearly, he's found his fit in Toronto. But it wasn't with New York, and that's fine. And that does not say everything about RJ Barrett. It says everything about what the Knicks were with RJ and with Julius and with Tibbs and with a team that didn't have a lot of spacing. And now the Knicks do have more spacing, partially because Barrett's gone. The Raptors play in a system that works for RJ better, where he's allowed to go downhill. So it's all good there. But I don't know if that means let's throw in Dejounte Murray, who, look, I understand him and RJ are much different players. Dejounte Murray primarily is a playmaker who likes to dominate the ball. However, RJ Barrett likes to dominate the ball also. There were too many cooks in the kitchen between him, Brunson, and Randall. And if Dejounte is going to score, he's going to try to take it to the hole the same way that RJ did and the same way that Brunson and Randall tried to. It would make the Knicks, once again, a pretty repetitive starting five with less court spacing. I'm adamantly against that. There's just no way that that makes sense to me, really, that they should add Dejounte Murray, who's an inconsistent shooter, into the lineup now that they finally have court spacing to let Randall work on the inside, and also just let Brunson do his thing with the starting lineup. I don't think we should be taking the ball out of Brunson's hands to give it to Dejounte Murray. Look, they tried taking the ball out of Trae Young's hands with Dejounte. It didn't seem to work, so they were like, all right, Dejounte, well, here's the deal. You're playing off the ball, and that was basically set from the first minute that Dejounte got there. And he stopped playing as well as he did on San Antonio when he got to be a starting point guard and dominate the ball. Look, Dejounte Murray is a good enough player to be the starting point guard on a championship team. Is he going to be the best player? No. But he's going to be one of the best players, like the third probably. Is he an all-star level player? Sure. He's kind of on the border, but he is, for sure. He almost averaged a triple-double with the San Antonio Spurs. When Dejounte Murray gets to be the starting point guard, he'll play the best basketball that he could possibly play. And I know that Brunson played shooting guard effectively when he was teammates with Luka, but Brunson broke out once he started dominating the ball. So I don't see the point in going for Dejounte Murray. I'd rather, if the Knicks has to get anyone from the Atlanta Hawks, I'd rather it probably be like a Sadiq Bey or AJ Griffin. Don't make some major trade for Dejounte Murray. Don't make a major trade at all over the season. You just did. Figure out what you need in the playoffs and then go from there. But really, I do see why people want him. He is a big name. He's a star. He's a great defender. There are positives about Dejounte, but I just don't think that would make sense. Whereas if the Knicks trade for Capela, it would only make sense if Mitchell Robinson were not coming back this season, and you also think Hartenstein's probably leaving in the offseason, or that you want to use Capela's contract as a tradable deal. He's making around $18 million, so that's perfect for tradable contracts. The Knicks are looking for someone to kind of make a move this summer, the earliest, but I already showed you that. My apologies. But something we also have learned from Fred Katz is that the Knicks have been less aggressive in searching for a center than they have with searching for a facilitator, especially with the hopefulness around Mitch's return. Robinson underwent ankle surgery in December and is not expected to undergo official reevaluation until mid-February. But the Knicks are increasingly optimistic about his return, according to a team source, and that optimism will affect how they operate over the next few weeks. And also, when the Knicks acquired Precious Achiuwa, who will be a restricted free agent after this season, they could figure that he could be insurance during the upcoming summer for Hartenstein. He provides a cheaper option in case Hartenstein becomes too expensive or just chooses to leave in free agency for an official starting role. It would be difficult to justify adding another center to the mix unless it meant you're parting with Sims or Achiuwa, and a little less to upgrade the backup spot until Robinson's healthy. And the Knicks have no plans to trade Hartenstein, who has been playing the best basketball of his career since joining the starting five. It all makes sense. Obviously, you're not going to trade Hartenstein, but look, the big thing is here, that would mean the Knicks are probably trading like Jericho Sims, Evan Fournier, maybe Quentin Grimes also in like 2 first-rounders for Dejounte and Clint Capela. I don't want to do that. And something else here is that fans can be like, oh, let's trade Precious Achiuwa. No, we can't. You cannot trade Precious Achiuwa with any other player on the New York Knicks. You could trade Precious along with picks, but you cannot trade him along with other players. Precious makes around $5 million. I used this analogy before with Malachi Flynn. I'm just going to use it again because I know how much money he makes. Kevin Love makes around the same. If the Knicks and the Heat decided, which they won't, this is not going to happen. This is purely hypothetical to help understand. If the Knicks and the Heat wanted to trade Precious Achiuwa for Kevin Love, that's perfectly fine. But what the Knicks could not do is trade Precious Achiuwa and say, I don't know, like Deuce McBride or Malachi Flynn or literally anyone else who plays for the Knicks right now along with Achiuwa for Kevin Love. You cannot give up any other player with Achiuwa right now via trade due to the recently traded exception. You can only trade Precious Achiuwa along with draft picks, which severely hinders that, which means you would be giving up Jericho Sims while also having to figure out what the hell you're paying Precious Achiuwa if you're paying him this summer, which I assume the Knicks will. I don't think they're just going to instantly give up on him after acquiring him as a trade. He was like the second guy in the trade. Malachi Flynn was more of the throw-in than Achiuwa was. So I think the Knicks want to keep them around. I really don't see the Knicks making a move for a center. If anything, if it feels like Mitch might not return or might not return in full health and they want a little more center insurance via a veteran, they'll just go into the buyout market, which makes more sense. You don't have to give up any draft picks. You just have to sign someone for the rest of the year. No harm, no foul. You're looking for a backup center. The truth is, backup center is probably the most replaceable role in the NBA. So, the Knicks could just go in a buyout, make things much easier for themselves, wait for Mitch to return. So really, I think that's kind of out of the question. And if that's out of the question, that means the only way the Knicks would be making a trade with the Hawks would just be some Fournier and Grimes and 2 firsts for Dejounte Murray. And that doesn't really make much sense either. So I would really stay on the side of the Knicks and the Hawks are probably not going to make a trade. Look, I think Dejounte is going to get traded. I don't think Clint Capela is. And maybe I'm wrong. Obviously, he could get traded. But definitely Dejounte is going to be out of there, but I don't think it's going to be with the Knicks. I think teams like the Los Angeles Lakers, Brooklyn Nets, and even the Philadelphia 76ers could be of a highly likelihood to land him than the Knicks. I think at the end of the day, the Knicks are just going to be like, all right, well, he's part of Clutch Sports. It'd be a whole debacle. We don't need anything like that. We just got OG Anunoby. We have an elite defender who we could basically put on anyone from the 1 to the 4 if we need come playoff time. Let's just get someone off the bench. Because when Brunson's not playing, the Knicks fall apart, and we know that, so let's just fix that and leave it at that. Guys, make sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any videos. 85% of these people who are watching are not subscribed, and that means they could miss any content. You don't want that to happen. So make sure to subscribe, like this video, do all that good stuff. Not going to do a long outro. No one needs that. Have a great day, guys, and go Knicks.